yeah, if you haven't met Destinee before, which I'm sure you guys have seen her on LinkedIn because she's kind of a little bit everywhere.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
This is Destinee Cleveland. She's kind of a powerhouse in everything. You know, I'll let you introduce yourself in a second, but yeah, writer, storyteller, visual artist, marketing, you've kind of done all of it.
Yeah. It's more like it's a way for survival in our industry. Things have changed drastically. You used to be able to like get a job and that was your career for like 40 years, but now you got to kind of be a jack of all trades. So you learn different things as you're working for, especially when you work for an indie studio or indie publisher, you end up wearing a lot of different hats. So
I was going to ask you, did you have like, because you said you've been in like kind of the game sphere for like over a decade, like what did you start out in before kind of transitioning into this everything?
I started off on the developer side as a graphic artist on UI design. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And now you've kind of spread out into like a little bit.
Yeah, now I've done a little bit of everything. Worked in publishing, worked on the development side. I feel like my biggest claim to fame that I'm super proud of is that I was the writer for the Monster High 𝗕𝗥𝗘𝗦 Secrets game, which is super cute.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was me. So like,
that's so cool.
Now when I meet other narrative designers or writers, which I should say that they're very different. I think for a while it was kind of like, oh, a narrative designer just writes, but like that is not the case. There's a lot of little intricacies. All I did was write. I didn't like design anything. Yeah, I just wrote basically like character backgrounds, anything that you see in like the little book, anything like the character said, and I helped build kind of like the story, but like or implementing it and like programming it into the game, I did not do any of that because that's
really okay. So they had you very like your
writing. I'm a writer. Yeah, so
that's pretty cool. Yeah, you get to kind of
I really enjoy it. It was fun, and I don't collect dolls, but I'm very aware of Mattel. I used to play with Barbies when I was little, so Monster High is one of those ones that I feel has really done well with the encompassing of gender fluidity.
I was gonna say, like, of all the ones to be in, right? Like, I know they've been introducing some like trans characters and some stuff, which was really cool to see.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that's like almost ideal.
Yeah. So it was such an honor to work on it.
It looks like we have some Monster High fans in the chat too. So if you've played the game, then you have played some of Destinee's work, and you know her before this. Yeah. What is your favorite game? I've got to start asking that to people.
Oh my God. I don't have just one, but I'll give you like my top 3.
Absolutely.
And they'll definitely age me. My first one is Final Fantasy VII. It's the first one I actually cried in because spoiler alert, Aerith dies. And I have anxiety, so I thought I did something wrong. So I replayed the game several times to try to figure out what I did to keep her from dying, not knowing that like that was it. And so when I couldn't keep her from dying, I was like, okay, she's gonna come back. Like they're gonna find a way to bring her back. And they don't. Like Aerith is just dead. So that's the first one that I played that really got me into narrative design, right? I've been playing games since I was like my first, oh my God, this is really gonna age me. My first console was an Atari 2600.
Yeah.
So and that's before I even knew what to do. Like it was like this Smurfs game, and it was like a really bad generic version of Paint when Paint was a thing. So, but my second favorite game of like all time is Streets of Rage 2.
Okay, I've heard really good things about Streets of Rage.
If you go back and have any chance to play it, it is so good. Like I would get home from school like stressed or irritated, and then I would just like kick ass all
through. Like I gotta take it out on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I'd say like most recently, Baldur's Gate 3. I absolutely fell in love with that. just because I really love rich storytelling. I really do.
Yeah. It was really a love letter to like
it was
narrative design.
It really was.
Yeah.
And meeting Sam, who does 𝗕𝗥𝗘𝗦, and becoming friends with her, like
that's
was like
so cool.
Yeah,
she's such a cool voice actor.
She is so cool, so down to earth.
Right.
We met at Dice, and you want to be cool. You don't want to like freak out or anything.
Yeah.
But I totally did. I totally fangirled. And she was like, that's the reaction that I want. And then we exchanged phone numbers, and we've been cool ever since. She's so cool. Yeah.
That's crazy that you started this call with like, I'm an introvert, I'm a little shy.
I am.
And then you hit it with
but then when you're a marketer, no. When you're running marketing, because I had to do marketing events, I had to like get out of that. So if I don't, like, for example, like I got like kind of presentable for this. So fun fact, my boss, because I also do marketing for the 𝗓𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗡𝗏 Foundation.
Right.
She asked me, like, do you ever get on camera? And I was like, no.
Really?
Yeah, most of my work calls, I just don't want to be on cam. So like I am truly an introvert, but like I have like, I prepare myself mentally for when I need to be like talking and like
like locked in.
Clocked in. And then after that, I need like 2 weeks of just like nothing, like just rest.
I'm like that after every like B2B event where you like really have to like have fun, but also do other things. I'm like, I'm dead for like at least 48 hours after.
Yes, because you're on
me.
a whole time, right?
Yep.
No, totally get it.
Literally, Stacy, you get it. Stacy's the same. Like she told me that she was an introvert, and then I guess it's a marketing people thing. Yeah. That they're all like, I'm so shy, and then they're the most like talkable, approachable people I've ever met. It's very odd.
A vibe too. Like if you're enjoying the conversation with the other person, you can kind of feel it. You have that gut feeling. I'm an extrovert with people I like. Does that make sense?
Yes, completely. Yeah, born to yap. Yeah. Okay, well then enough of me introducing you. If you would like to introduce yourself. Sorry folks, you had to hear my abridged version.
No. Hi everyone. My name is Destinee Cleveland. I have been in games for over 16 years, I think, at this point. I've done everything from like a bit of development to publishing to marketing to creating a space for femmes in gaming and tech, which is called Dames for Games. We host showcases several times a year where we give women and femmes, we basically let them use our platform to share their stories with the community. And you're going to hear it here first. We have something very cozy and dark planned for October.
Exciting.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited about it. It's not 𝗕𝗕𝗢 coded, but like you'll see. Just please watch our socials. I think you guys will be really excited with where we're going with it.
We've got insider information.
Yeah.
So there we go. It's on the link there. So if you follow the socials, keep an eye out.
Yeah. You've kind of something very soon.
Everywhere. Would you consider yourself freelance or more associated with a bunch, or?
At the moment, I work at Atari.
Oh, okay. Full circle,
Full circle, Full circle.
Okay, awesome.
So at the moment, I do marketing with Atari, but I also have side projects. I don't know if it's the millennial in me where it's just like I have to have multiple streams of income. But I work there. I do 𝗕𝗕𝗢𝗔𝗕, but I don't get paid for 𝗕𝗕𝗢𝗔𝗕. Like all the funds that get raised for 𝗕𝗕𝗢𝗔𝗕 go right back into the production and into the community. And then I'm also a marketing manager for the 𝗓𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗏 Foundation part-time. And then I'm the producer of the Thinky Direct. So if you guys caught that showcase last year, it's from Thinky Games, and all of the games are like puzzle kind of games and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cute. Yeah. If you guys aren't familiar with them, Stacy's dropping the links in now. Please check them out. I know like half of our audience at least is like neurodivergent and locked into puzzles. So I think this is right up their alley for sure.
Get excited. Showcase is coming May 28th, and we're partnering with the 𝗕𝗏𝗡𝗡 Puzzle Showcase. So with the Steam event. So we have a lot of exciting games.
That's actually like great timing for Canadian folks. It's right up near the Game Awards, actually. So. Yeah, good timing. And what got you into Dames for Games? Because you're the founder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I didn't see enough of us.
So yeah, fair. That'll do it. Yeah.
I would watch these like award shows, and I would see people go up on stage and accept things, and I'd be like, but I know there are femmes in the background, like working on things. And honestly, it's really changed from just being women, because at first I was very focused on like women need to be seen, right? And this comes from like just growing up in like the 90s and things like that.
Of course, yeah.
Also really, because my background is in animation. So my bachelor degree is in media arts and animation. I wanted to be a 2D animator. I really wanted to have cartoons about little Black girls, because like we were always the sidekick, and I wanted one that was like about us. And then I got my master's in special effects and animation. But after having these conversations, and things have changed so drastically with how people present themselves publicly, which is a beautiful thing, right? We're so much more open that like I really had to rethink what Dames for Games was. And so that's why it's not just woman focused, it's femme focused, right? Anyone who identifies as femme. Because we realized that those people weren't getting a place to like share their stories. And I think it's very important. I always believe representation is important. And like the little antidote that I do, or that I say, is that you can tell me about Susie and Kim all day, but if I don't see them in the room, I'm wondering like, are they really contributing? Like, are they really there? And if you're telling me about them, why don't I see them? Like in these rooms where people are making these decisions. So that was really why I wanted to do it. I thought it was important for girls younger than us, girls who might want to get into gaming, to see themselves in these spaces, but also to let people know that there are different ways to get into the game industry. You don't have to be a game dev. Like you could just be an artist. You can be a voice actor. Even if you don't want to do anything creative, you can work in like HR. And I think a lot of people don't think those roles are important, but they are. You're still contributing to the ecosystem that is the gaming world. And so we just want to make sure that like, well, I personally want to make sure that when I bring on special guests, it's someone who's gotten into games like in such an odd way you would never think about it. So for example, 𝗪𝗛𝗘, who helped co-found the 𝗕𝗥𝗪𝗘, comes from an education background. Right?
Yeah, it's so, crazy, like, right?
You just, you don't know, you never know. And so we've had on, oh my God, I think her, Amanda, she was a like classically trained singer, but she got into gaming specifically because she was asked to do some of the performance for Final Fantasy. So when you see those performances and they have so we had her on to talk about her story and how she
crazy.
Yeah, so there's like so many different ways to get into gaming that like we don't talk about. And I think it's really important that people find their niche, because it's still a job, and there's still like a lot of things that the general public focuses on, like the developers and the publishers and the studios, but like there are a lot of different people with a lot of different roles help keep that going, right? So
yeah, I think a lot of people like to narrow it down to like, did you write, did you make the art, did you program it? Or like music kind of thing. Like it's hard to, I guess if you're outside of that space, imagine that there's somebody out there who has to deal with like workplace safety and, you know, stuff like that makes it approachable for all of these people, right? Like,
and then you have things like Safe in Our World, right? Which is this incredible organization that focuses on mental health in gaming. And you have a couple of those places, and they're still within the gaming ecosystem, even though they're not like a developer. So,
of course.
Yeah, having things like that and having those conversations with people lets them know that there are opportunities they might not have thought of before.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I know a lot of the folks kind of listening and watching in too are coming from, especially in like the current ecosystem of like your dream job isn't necessarily something you can pursue right away a lot of the times now. And there's that fear of like, if I didn't start at 16, like, is it over for me? Am I cooked?
No, you're not.
So I'm curious how you transitioned from animation into games, because I know it's not the most uncommon pipeline, but I know everyone's kind of journey is different with it.
I think it was very different for me because when I started going to school, it was very focused on 2D animation, and then they were doing things like Flash. Like Flash
is a really crazy. Big thing. That's crazy.
Right? And now we don't even use that. So, and then from there, it transitioned into 3D. So, jump scare.
Literally.
It was around the time that it was like right after Toy Story was really huge. Like it was the first time I've ever seen like an animation like that. And so they like literally changed the curriculum. And because they did that, it had us in similar classes with game design.
Okay, so, makes sense, right? Yeah.
So there was a bit of crossover there. And I think it was easier for me because my background was really focused on art. So whether I wanted to do storyboards for a game or whether I wanted to do like graphic art for a game, like I kind of had like a hodgepodge of all of those skills. So it made it easy for me to transition. I will say that I didn't have to apply, like, because I was able to network in college, which is what I'll say. As if you go to college, like I'm not going to say you don't need to go to college for art and all of those things. Like you'll learn the basics of art if that's what you want to go to school for. But networking is the most important thing when you're in college because you have no idea where other people are going to be. And my first job in the gaming industry came from someone I knew. I don't know if you guys know what the Mix is, but it's a showcase that's just focused on indie gaming that happens several times a year.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I hadn't heard of it before.
And they also do physical events. But the person who runs that, I went to college with.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So network if you're not networking.
Do you have like any advice for like I know you were saying that you were a little bit shy. I know in like university, I was very aware of my existence in the world, but not in a great way. Do you have any like recommendations for maybe more introverted people trying to network in university?
I think baby steps, right?
That's good,
and the way that I networked is like I was close with certain people and then I met people through them. If that makes sense. I didn't just go out there and be like, hi, Destinee, let's get to know each other. I would never do that. That's mortifying.
Yeah.
But because like I was friends with a couple of artists and they were friends with someone else, I was like, oh, okay. Like, and then they would invite me to things and I would get to know those other people. But I felt like I was in a safe space because there were people there that I really connected with and I knew, even though like a new person was being introduced into that group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you've got to like the tether kind of thing too. Yeah, I totally get that. And it's absolutely not too late to network. We just had a whole conversation about it. You can network at any time.
You can network anywhere. And honestly, the way that people do these game jams and stuff like that, that's another really good way to network and meet other people. Like, you don't have to physically go somewhere to network. Like, it's made it so easy to just meet people online.
True.
I always feel more comfortable meeting people online. I meet people through gaming online, and then I find out like, oh, what do you do? And then you'd be surprised how many people are like, oh, I'm not in gaming, but like my friend is in gaming.
Yeah. Or like I'm in this very adjacent. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've met so many like professional artists through D&D.
Yes.
That it's like, they're always, everything's connected, truly.
It really is.
It's crazy.
The gaming world is very small. Like, it's not as massive as you may think. Like when we go to these events like DICE and all of that stuff, you see the same faces, which is not a bad thing, but it's just like you get to know people because like you're always at the same place at the same time. I will say that like even if you're uncomfortable like going to places physically, like just take someone. Like it doesn't have to be someone necessarily that wants to get into gaming, but someone you're comfortable with that will enjoy being there with you. And maybe they speak up for you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you take your extroverted friend with you to help kind of break the ice.
Wingman style. Yeah, literally. Literally. That's actually great advice. Cause like half the time these events are like a lot of indie booths and stuff anyways that you can just play games and have fun. So bring your local extrovert, guys. Bully your friends into going to things with you. It works great. Truly. How have you found that like environment changed? Because I imagine like 15 years ago, networking and online networking is probably a lot different than it is now.
Oh, it's a lot different because, you know, when I was growing up, it was like dial up and it was like, don't talk to strangers. And now it's like flash animation and all that good stuff. I think you still need to be very careful just because like communities can be very toxic, but I do think it's opened up a way for more people to connect in like a beautiful way. Right. So for example, like you have these like indie developers who are welcoming people into their Discord, like they're creating Discords for their games. And that's one way to kind of like network because you already like the game and you know you're going into like a group of people who kind of share that interest. Like you're all there because you like the game, right? So like just striking up conversation. And it could be as simple as, what do you like about the game? Or you just saying something simple like, oh my God, I love this one level with the purple dog and the green cat. And somebody guaranteed will be like, oh my God, I love that level too.
Yeah,
like, It just like, you know, so I think it's much easier now to where like you don't have to go to a GDC. And I would say, honestly, I wouldn't go to a GDC unless you're really prepared to be exhausted from talking and you really want to meet people. Like if you're not ready mentally to do it, like don't force yourself to do it or you will not get anything out of it.
That is true. You do really have to be the one to talk at these events for sure.
Got to sell yourself, baby.
Truly, truly. You have to, you're your own biggest fan at these events. Like for real. Yeah. And it works out though. It is a fun time. Do you have any advice for people who are maybe going to an event for the first time?
Drink lots of water.
True. Yeah.
Wear deodorant.
Huge, bigger than you think, really.
But much bigger than you think. And not because like you're not clean. It's just like walking around and going from place to place, you get sweaty. Like
everything is hot and sweaty, and they're always held in like convention rooms. Yeah.
And there's so many people in there, like you're gonna perspire, so just bring it. But also like for your first time, if you've never gone, I would say don't put pressure on yourself to try to network immediately. Like go and check out the vibe of the event. See if it's even an event that you think you could make good connections at, because different events have different vibes. Some events are not focused on like making connections that way, and you won't make a lot because they're more consumer focused. So like a PAX East or a PAX West, right? And then trying to make those connections with like developers or publishers at a booth is going to be really hard because like they're trying to entertain people and get people to play their game, things like that. But if you do go to an event where it's like more like B2B focused, like a DICE or a Games Beat, that's when you need to bring your A game and you need to be ready to speak to people.
I know like a lot of them nowadays, at least up in Canada, like have volunteering opportunities. I don't know if DICE and stuff do too, but that's always a great way. I don't know if you've done any like volunteering because you kind of run your own like volunteering stuff.
I'm always working them, but never volunteering. But I do think volunteering could help. It's just really hard because if you're volunteering, you have to think about I'm here doing a job first versus I'm here on my own time.
That is true.
While I think that's okay to kind of like get the vibe of an event, I wouldn't volunteer as a way to try to network with people, right? Because you want to have that freedom to where like, if you are an artist, you can show your portfolio or like you can actually stand there and have a conversation and not worry about, oh, I need to go to this next zone. No, it's like you can talk. And if they're willing to talk to you, then that's a really good thing. So you don't want to break that because you have to move and you have to work or you have to like relieve somebody on their break or anything like that.
That's a great point. Yeah, just to have that like freedom of movement is so huge at these, for sure. Yeah. Have you ever like boothed or anything with like IGDA, stuff like that, or any?
Oh yeah. So I used to run the booth for Freedom Games. It was a beautiful booth. Yeah. So I was the event marketing manager for that publisher. So I ran our booths at Tokyo Game Show, at Gamescom, at PAX. Yeah.
Nice. So you've kind of been a little bit everywhere for that. How do you find being on that side of things?
It's exhausting, but it's fun. It's exhausting, but it's fun. But you know what? I feel like I get burnt out because it's like I've been to so many conventions. They all feel the same at the end of the day when I'm working them.
I get that. Yeah.
But I think the best thing is watching people play games that you're also excited about, and then you see them get excited about it, and like they're just like gushing and ready to talk to you about it. I think that's really fun. Because even though I'm an introvert, when I'm in work mode, I'm a very people person.
Like, that's the marketing side jumping out.
Marketing side. So I enjoy the people. And I think it's really nice to like, at the end of the day, you reconnect with other people who are also like, I used to connect with like friends from Kickstarter or connect with friends from like other publishers and like other like, and then there's always parties.
Of course. Yep.
But I've gotten too old to go to those parties. I get really tired. I just want to like go home to my hotel. I get it.
Some of these events end at like 7:00. I'm like, we're done. I gotta go. Actually, I'm like, I gotta.
But if you're new to this, try to go to a party or two. Try.
That is good advice.
Yeah. Try to go to a party or two, and please, for the love of God, do not get drunk. Because some people do. Yeah. Like just because it's a party doesn't mean you need to get wasted. And I feel like we have to say that a lot because people are like, oh, it's a party. But like, if you're trying to make an impression, like you can have some sips, but don't get crazy. Like you're still there because you're trying to represent yourself. Like get crazy with your friends at home, but like, because you never know what people are going to think. And like I said, it's very small. It's very small.
I was going to say there's that double-edged sword of like, it's a small community, but that also means everybody like knows.
Everybody knows. Yeah.
But that's good advice. I think America's similar where it's like most of these events do have like a split off side. Event, quote unquote. That's kind of like, oh, we're just going to go to blank and drink and talk kind of thing.
Yeah.
But don't get drunk, guys. It's still
until it's over. Then do whatever you want.
Then go ham. That's none of my
celebrate,
business.
Relax.
I'll be asleep at 9:30, but you guys do you. And sorry, 1 second here. It's horror stories of people getting drunk. Yeah, it's more common than you think. There have definitely been people who don't treat events.
And you've got to be careful because there have been events, like if you just research it, because like when you're having these events, it's like in a public space, right? And even though like you'll have caterers and stuff, and this is not me saying like anything bad. It's just me saying be very careful and be aware of your surroundings. Like people have their drinks spiked and stuff like that. So you have to be really, really careful.
Yeah, always another great reason, honestly, to bring a friend is just for like these events in general. Treat it like a party in that sense, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, bring your buddy. But so you've had your like hand in kind of a bunch of different spaces, like especially like over the years too. Like I know a lot of these, even like the in-person events have changed pretty drastically.
Yeah, they have.
Do you have any like recommended events or anything that you would like shout out or be like, this one's great, I would go to this one?
Dice is super expensive, but I do think it's a really good event to go to if you're ready to like network and present yourself and your work. I think it's a really good one. It's not something you have to go to every year, but it really is where like the 𝗕𝗓𝗓 de la crème of like game people go.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you get to meet your heroes and stuff. Yeah. The other one is, and it also depends on what you want to do in gaming. If you want to be in marketing in gaming, I would go to a PAX East or a PAX West and talk to the people running the booths, right? Try to get an understanding of how they do their marketing for their games. And then if you're going to, for like B2B and you really want to focus and like kind of go to like lectures and like talks, a GDC or a Games Beat would be what I would say, where it's not like you have to like really put yourself out there, but it doubles as a learning experience, right?
That's a good point, eh? Yeah, a lot of these events are great for like, even if you're not putting yourself out there yet, just kind of like observing from the sidelines is like huge, I think.
Absolutely.
It makes it easier to dive in. I know Ramji is saying like, I wonder if XP, personally, those are the ones that I attend. I do recommend them. They're kind of the big ones in Canada just because we don't have PAX and stuff.
That's fair. I haven't gone, I've only gone to one in Canada. So to be fair, like I'm in the US and so like they don't do a lot of stuff. Like the companies here don't do a lot of stuff in Canada. I don't know why. Well, the companies I've worked with.
Yeah.
And I think that's because like I've worked with a lot of like indie places and they just don't have the funds to go.
It's a tough overlap. Yeah.
But if there's anything that's similar to a PAX that happens in Canada, absolutely go. I know I went to one event in Canada where we had a booth. It was like the Edmonton.
Oh, okay. Middle of nowhere. Well, not middle of nowhere, but
it was
middle of Canada. Middle of Canada, nowhere. Yeah.
We did that event, and I think it was like their second or third year. Like they're trying to grow it.
Okay, like new.
Yeah, but I think that's very consumer facing as well. So it just really depends on what you want to get out of an event. And I would like type into Google, like
honestly,
this is what I want to do. What are the best events to go to, like that are near me? Because there's some smaller events that you could go to, like Midwest Games is a smaller event that takes place, but I think it holds a lot of value for people who are not just in the Midwest, but anyone. And the reason why they put that on is because like they were like, oh, there's like you either have to go to the East Coast or the West Coast, and we want to put something in the middle. So I think like if I were you or you all, I would do that. I would find out what events are happening near you, do some research on them, and see how they best fit what you want to get out of an event.
That's really good advice. A lot of these smaller things too, like it's easier to talk to people because there's less pressure.
Less pressure, easier to talk to people. And you never know who knows someone. Like you never know.
Yeah. And like, even if you don't know people, like meeting new people is kind of the way. Like I know 𝗕𝗓𝗢𝗡 echoes it a lot online, that it's not about meeting somebody who's going to get you a job. It's about meeting people who will help support you in that.
Exactly. That's such a good thing to bring up, because like what you're looking for shouldn't be like, maybe this person can get me a job. It should be like, is this person going to talk well about me in rooms that I'm not in?
That's a great way to look at it. For sure. Honestly. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I feel like, do you have any advice for networking authentically? Like it's so hard to kind of split it down the line, so to speak, of like businessy is always kind of inauthentic, but keeping true to yourself.
So for me, I don't ever present myself in a business sort of situation. I just present myself as who I am.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really important because I want people to get to know me. And if they get to know me and we vibe and they like me, then that's what I want out of that situation. So I never go into situations in networking thinking like, what can you do for me? I go into situations thinking like, hey, I like what you've done, or I like what you do. I'd really like to get to know you better. Because I found starting out when it's like, hey, when you message someone on LinkedIn, you're like, oh, I really like what you do. Like, can we like grab like 15 minutes? Like, it just feels so inauthentic. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but what I'm saying is that like, I think it's better to meet people face to face if you can meet people face to face. And if you can't, you could do it through LinkedIn, but I would say don't immediately be like, hey, I want to know all about your job. Just be like, hey, you know what I mean? Be like, hey, I saw something you did and I just found it like really inspirational. I would love to just like get to know you as a person.
Honestly, yeah, that's like, even if you're a fan of their work, like, especially I find in like niche, like when you move away from the like, oh, you were the director of blank, like these very small, like even like, oh, I was the texture art on this and this kind of thing. And like you reach out, like people want to talk about stuff they like, and everybody likes games. So it's like, do it.
So yeah, make it authentic. If you reach out, like, because I guarantee you'll have less people reaching out being like, hey, I'd like to get to know you because I really like what you do, versus people reaching out and be like, hey, can you tell me about your work on this? Or like, can you tell me about like what it's like to be the director of this? Like, just reach out and be like, I'd really love to get to know you. I really like what you do and the work that you do. And I would just love to grab like maybe 20 minutes of your time. And I would say try to go for 30 minutes because there's not much you can talk about in 20 minutes. And then when you do have that conversation, like you can start it off with, these are the things I really like. These are the things that inspired me. But like, I just want to know more about you. Like, what do you like to do? Like, it's like a coffee date. I hate to say that, but that's what it is.
It really is. It feels like speed dating, honestly. Yeah. Truly. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how Stacy and SJ introduced me to you. They were the people in the other room hyping you up, truly.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
She's such a delight. And I was like, I'm so excited to talk to this person. Yeah, so it really does work, folks. Like, you just have to make the jump a lot of the times to talk to people, I think. And in terms of like going to these events, meeting people, kind of being in all of these spaces and games, I am curious, as like you're like a person of color, femme in games, like how are you finding that?
Hey, you noticed I was black?
Guys, jump scare. Destinee's black. I'm
sorry.
Not. No, but I'm curious to hear kind of from a person of color's like point of view on it shifting.
I think there's still a lot of room for growth.
Yeah.
And I will say that. I think I can only speak for myself, but I do think this is like a general consensus from some of the people that I've spoke to. Like when we go into these positions, with like the burden of knowing that like we have to like overperform because we're not being just looked at as Destinee. I'm being looked at as a Black woman. And like, if we ever want to hire more Black women, you know, if Destinee does a really poor job, then do we really want to like, and that sucks. Not all people are like that, but I have been in positions where, you know, people have been racially insensitive. And then when I brought it up, like the whole demeanor of our relationship changed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And so I feel like, I think the best way that I could explain this is that like we're all taught freedom of speech, but I've always practiced safe speech.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And so I still do that.
And
I think that kind of like, it's annoying because sometimes I want to say things, but I'm like, I don't know if they're going to think I'm just being like angry Black woman or like, you know, and not even just from like a person of color, but just like I don't know if you can curse on here, but B,
like, you can absolutely go crazy, go stupid.
Well, like, you know, like oh, she's just being a bitch, or like, because I've had times where it's like, I'm just telling you straightforward, like, this is the way I want something done, or this is how I feel, and blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, oh, like, are you in a bad mood today? No, I'm just speaking frankly. But like now I put a smiley face emoji behind everything if I think that people are going to take it the wrong way. And it's wild to me because I feel like in my experience, a lot of like, not all of them, but some of my male coworkers get away with saying some of the most outlandish things and nobody ever questions them about it.
Yeah.
But like if I were to say the same thing in the same tone, like it would be a problem.
Yeah, I know, like, it's not obviously quite the same, but I know a lot of folks who are on like the autism spectrum find like similar things happen where it's like there's so much, not even just like the layering of nuance, but like immediate judgment of that nuance that like causes kind of problem. I am glad it's getting better. And again, guys, like if you're not familiar with Dames for Games and their work and all of like these great initiatives that are kind of coming out of it, I do sincerely recommend you check them out because they are the people that are making this more approachable. Truly.
Gotta have these conversations for things to get better. And I want to definitely say it's not just women and femmes who are doing this. We have some incredible allies who are helping us and really rooting for us and wanting us to win. And a lot of people ask me like, what's your goal with Dames for Games? And I'm like, for there not to be a Dames for Games. Right? Because it's so commonplace anymore, right? We don't need to do this anymore. I can free my time up and bake bread in a cottage, and
you're like, I can run away to Scotland.
I can run away to Scotland. Can we world peace.
Let's get on that. So Destinee and her partner can go bake bread with sheep.
Yes, focaccia bread. But I think that's really what it is. And one of the most important things that I wanted to do with D4G is to let people know, like, we're not out here like man bashing, like it's nothing like that. But you have to over explain that a lot because people are like, well, why is it all about like women and femmes? And it's because like, you know, there's a large percentage of women and femmes who play video games that aren't represented in video games and aren't represented in these boardrooms where these meetings, where these choices are being made. And then, you know, there's a lack of visual representation when you have like showcases and things like that. And so, that's why we do it, because we want you to know that we are just as important in this ecosystem as our counterparts. So,
I mean, especially like as a woman, like you see so much of like, not even just like creating the games, but the games themselves are, you have to fight. I find like if you're in a publishing space or in a larger space, like it's harder than people think to be like, I want a main character to be a woman, a person of color, part of the LGBT. Like, there's so much.
Very hard. Which is why I'm so thankful for the indie space, right? And so, like, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but like, you can go look at the statistics of how many like women-led or femme-led studios get funding versus their counterparts. It's like this. I mean, we're still in an age where, you know, there's pay issues, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's not just in games, it's everywhere, but like we need to have those conversations so that those things can change. We need to have those conversations so that allies can get in those rooms and help us make those changes alongside us. And I think if we're silent about it, nothing will ever be done. And so that is like the main focus of D4G is like, we want to give you this platform to speak up and talk about these things because your experience might be very similar to someone else's who never spoke up. And that gives them the courage to be like, hey, no, this is not right. I need to speak up. So it's important.
Yeah. I mean, like it's just as much supporting each other as supporting yourself in a lot of ways, for sure.
Absolutely.
And, I mean, of course, right? Like Who could have thought that basic compassion actually gets you places? It's a crazy thought, truly.
I feel like we were all taught the same thing. Like, you know, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Don't say it at all.
Like, I feel like we were all taught very similar things, and it always blows my mind how different people come out of like that. You know what I mean? Like if you watch Sesame Street, if you watch like all of our like cartoons and shows were about treating each other with respect and love, and like I don't know what happened to some of these people. Like that's a whole different topic, but it's just like it's wild when you like see these people and some of the hateful things they say, and you're just like, bruh, like, did you not watch Barney growing up?
Yeah, right. It's like, I know you all watched.
I know you watched.
I know you were taught that it was not okay to say that.
I know you watched Blue's Clues. Like,
literally,
what is going on?
No, seriously. And in that kind of on that stream of thought, just before I forget, like, for people who are like maybe not necessarily in the space of, you know, femme or like a marginalized group of any kind, like, do you have any recommendations for like how to be a good ally in these spaces?
Absolutely. I think retweet whatever we put out. No, I'm kidding.
Follow. Give Destinee $20.
Yeah, thank you. I think the best way to be an ally is to be open to listening to what somebody has to say about their experience that aren't your experiences. Being open to listening and learning. I think that's the best type of ally. Because then when you learn and you listen, you educate yourself on the issues that are happening, and you can be a better spokesperson in those spaces where we're not able to speak. So that is how I think that's the best way you can be an ally. Is just to be open to those conversations. And then when you see some dumb shit happening, speak up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you're in a group of friends who say, you know, something sexist or racist or just like out of pocket, like call them on that. Just be like, bro, that's not cool. That's the best way to be an ally. Because then it doesn't feel like it's just for show. It feels like you're doing it because you really care about us. You know, you really care about what's happening, and you do want the space to get better and more welcoming. And at the end of the day, I don't know why people don't believe this. If it would just make life easier for everybody if we just got along. Like, you know, it would. Truly. It really, really would.
Truly. No, diversity is not going to break your video game. I promise.
It's not. And can I just say this? I don't know who's listening, but woke does not mean what you think it means. And I hate.
Thank you.
When people it literally makes me cringe when people use it in the wrong way. Woke is something that everyone can use, and it literally means to stay aware of what's going on around you. That is all it means. The whole woke agenda and all is absolute bullshit. It simply means to be aware of what's happening around you. So if like some crazy stuff is happening around you or something doesn't feel right, like that's being woke. That's like your alarms going off, your gut instinct telling you like maybe you should get out of here. You shouldn't be in this situation. That's what woke means. And I just wanted to put that out there because I get so mad when people even joke about it, when they're like, yeah, you know, these woke games, that's not what it means. Shut up.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's actually the opposite.
That's the opposite of what it means. Like,
it is, it's a big red flag and a much more common one than people
think. It is super common. I think people out themselves without even realizing they're outing themselves.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I'm like, you know? I'm like side-eyeing hard, like, okay.
Interesting. So, Interesting choice of words. Yeah, no, for sure. No, I totally get it. Thank you for saying that. Actually, that's a very big. Keep
it's
yourself
just like
aware.
A stickler for me. It really bothers me.
No, truly, and especially I imagine like animation, even in school, is very similar. Of like, we want our stories told this way, and it can't be too woke, or it won't get picked up by people. Kind of thing.
And it's just like. It's not what it is, but okay.
No, you gotta pick up a dictionary.
And if you hear somebody using it in that way, please correct them, because that's
tell
not
them it's
what
cringe.
It means.
Yeah,
tell them it's cringe, because that's not what it means. And I think that is like, for an example, that is part of the problem. People using it and other people being like, oh, I know what it means, but I'm not going to correct them. I'm just going to let them slide. It's not important. It is important, because like our whole government is now using that, and people are using that to attack agendas where it's just like, hey, we just want to see more girls in games, or hey, we just want to see like more Black characters or Asian characters, or like, you know, Native Americans and stuff. And then they like throw that word at it. Like they've made it such a negative, they put such a negative connotation on it, and that's not what it means. And it's because people didn't speak up to be like, that's not what that means. And so I think that's what we have to do as a community, is like, if somebody says something like that, like, please, that's a good ally thing. Please correct people and let them know that that's not what it means.
Yeah. I mean, as a writer yourself in the community space, like, I'm sure you know better than anyone that like words have such a powerful meaning in the world of social media. And sometimes people are using these things because they don't know what it actually means. Like sometimes all it takes is somebody to be like, hey, that's not what you think it's means. We gotta
and you don't have to like attack them or anything.
Yeah, like don't get in a fist
just
fight,
be like I had the situation earlier, and I was like, do you know what woke means? And I asked it in that way, and they were like, oh no, I know. And I was like, oh, okay, because that's not what it means. And like we shouldn't joke about it in that way, because there's probably people out there who don't know that that's not what it means. And so it just turns into like this snowball effect. I'm sorry, I spent like 20 minutes on this, but it grinds my gears.
It's a really important subject. And I think it does match a lot of kind of what the IGDA, what Games for Games, like what these things stand for, and how, like, I don't know, one of my very first events I learned from, they had a panel with like a major like story writer. I think it was for Ubisoft at the time, and she was explaining that like it's important to have these people who are standing up for diversity, standing up for like using the right words, this and that, because of like how important it is for games and the people consuming them at the same time, kind of thing. Like it's so necessary to have these
games and social media at such a rapid rate, like way more than when I was young. Like we didn't really have social media, so it's gotten to this point where it's like really toxic, and like you don't even know what your kids are picking up and watching these days, so they're just watching TikTok and stuff like that. And so like I don't know, just like educate yourselves, and then like once you educate yourselves, educate others, and at the same time don't be afraid to ask questions, because I think for me, when somebody genuinely wants to know something, I have all the time in the world to explain something. But when somebody has an expectation of you should teach me, I'm like, you have a computer. Look
it's not my responsibility.
If you really wanted to know. But if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, I read this. Is this like, you know, is this really how it is? Blah, blah, blah. Then I'm like, yo, let me break it down for you. Like, I'm so down to do stuff like that. But
hell yeah.
And as a woman and as a femme and as an ally, I'm not saying that like it's your job to teach people, because you don't have to. That's a long, like that's a big task to take on. But I do think with like your close family and friends, if you think they're open to like being like, let's have a conversation about this, do it. But don't make it your job to try to change somebody's mind if they don't want to change their mind. Like you don't have to do that.
Yeah, it's a benefit if you are a source of information. I don't think anybody should feel pressured, especially if they're already facing marginalization.
So I just wanted to say that.
No, that's a great extra. And for anybody who does have any questions about this or the games, please feel free to ask now, just because we're in our last few minutes, and I know some people were bouncing that off. Stacey will number them as we go. But yeah, it's been really cool to talk about somebody who's evolved with games, especially to like see how like your perspective even has changed throughout the years.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
Like, how you found like, I know you said, like, you get tired after events and stuff, and, like, now at the rate that we, like, consume things and have to be networking, like, how do you balance that burnout feeling? Because I know a lot of people
go on camera when I need to go on camera for work meetings.
Yeah. Thank you for going on camera today.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I think
no, I totally get it.
I have a very close circle of friends that like I game with, and then like I'm very hesitant to like add more people to that group. Does that make sense? Because they're like my safe
small
space.
Circle. Yeah.
So I find comfort in like those like 6 people. And like it doesn't feel like I'm expending energy. I just really enjoy being around them. And like I feel like they kind of like give me energy back because I can just fully be myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
And then like I like to take naps.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I love a good nap. And then other ways that I just like try to veg out is I'm really bad at binging shows, like really bad at it. Like I can't wait on anybody. Like if I'm really into it, I'll watch it. So it's just like little things that I really enjoy that kind of like help me balance those things. But I'm also trying to be better at work-life balance. And what I do with that is I like to plan things very early. Like I like to get started on them very early. So like I'm not crunching the whole time. And I mean like 6 to 7 months early. And that way I'm pacing myself, right? So it's not like, oh my God, I'm working like 80 hours a week. No, I have time. So I can work on this 4 hours a week and then work on it another 4 hours next week. But I still have time to like do the things that I enjoy. So that's kind of what I do. And then after an event, I would say I just chill. I just relax. I may get a bottle of wine, or I might order like some cookies or something. I like treat myself. You should treat yourself.
You should treat yourself.
Yeah, you should treat yourself through like an exhaustive kind of thing. And like don't beat yourself up at the end of it like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Like, no, you absolutely should.
Yeah.
Eat it.
I am a diehard hater of the grind set.
Yes.
And I will die on this hill. Treat yourself, take breaks.
Take breaks.
Yeah. Go bake bread in the middle of nowhere in a cottage.
Yes. Or order like Mexican food from your favorite place.
Literally. No, truly. Nothing hits harder than Uber Eats after one of these.
Yes.
Because it's like you don't want to cook, you don't want to,
And don't beat yourself up. I think a lot of people do.
Also good.
Don't beat yourself up. I'm just throwing things out there. Eat gummy bears. And I think honestly, like the really important thing is I know a lot of us kind of like have those moments of suffering from imposter syndrome. And this is kind of where I want to leave off is just, if you ever feel like you just need someone to talk to, like you could always hit me up. You can join our Discord or whatever. Like we're all kind of in this together where we're fighting to be seen and heard and respected. And I will die on this hill. You deserve that. So that's it.
That's a very good thing to kind of close off on. If you're okay with me, I think we have 2 questions.
Yeah.
If that's all right. I know we're going a little bit over. I'm very sorry.
No, it's okay.
One of them, we just, we did answer the first little bit, so I'm just going to skip to your other question. Do you have any tips for recent graduates?
Ooh. I would say it also depends on what you're getting into. The industry is kind of like not in a good place right now.
That's a little bit of a dumpster fire, but that's okay.
But I think my issue with that is like we went through this with animation in 2009 and there were just a lot of people without jobs. So my best advice to you as a recent graduate is to do something that's adjacent to the job that you want to get to so that you do have experience, even if it's not
that's good advice. Yeah.
In the industry, right? And I would say join a really well-known, very well-organized game jam to build up your portfolio. Even if I know a lot of game jams are like, oh, like we have like the artist and the music person, blah, blah, blah. You can go in there and be like, yo, I just want to do the project management for your game jam? Can I do that? Absolutely.
Seriously.
I want to create some marketing assets for the game, even after the game jam's over, that we can like push on socials. Like you can get practice, like building a community around the game that's happening, that you're building on the game. Like there's so many different ways that like you can build on your portfolio and have that experience. And then while you're getting that experience, make those connections and make them lifelong connections. Like don't just stop talking to them after the game jam is over. If they're open to still talking and like being like a friend, then keep that connection, because you never know. They may get a job at like Sony and they're like, wait a minute, we have an opening for like an artist or a project manager, and I've worked with this person before. I know how dedicated they are. I'm going to refer them.
Yeah, and you have like tangible proof that you've like
have tangible proof that you've done it.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's great advice. Game jams got me in at first. I think a lot of people say the same thing. Like, it's great. It's a great source of meeting people too. If you're worried about networking, it kind of, you do it yourself because you're already in a team. You're being given a team basically. So yes, no, that's a great one.
I think the other advice would just be to, like, even though I said work adjacent, let's say you want to be a programmer, but like right now it's really hard to get a programming job. Be open to taking other jobs in the game industry that aren't focused on, you know, your dream job at the moment. It may take you some time to get there. There have been so many people who started off as one thing, but were able to move into other roles because they already had their foot in the door. People knew who they were, and they consistently showed their work and consistently showed up. So I think that's really important too. Don't give up on your
you don't have to stay in one job forever, for sure. And for those, I know like a lot of recent graduates are coming out of very big roles, kind of like what we talked about earlier, where it's like, oh, you're a writer, you're a concept artist. It's like there are a lot of people going for those roles. You kind of have to be flexible with it, for sure.
Create your own game if you can. That's also really, really good. Like, even if it's outside of a game jam, like create something. It doesn't have to be finished. You can start on something, and like people can see the potential in you and what you can do just by doing something like that. Like
mock-ups are huge. For real. That's a great one. And kind of on that, Stacy's asking like what advice or tips you would have for folks getting into like game writing or narrative design.
Oh, that's so hard. I think because there's so many different things that people want out of a game writer. So it depends on like if you're going AAA or AA or indie. I would say the indie space is better to get into. I know someone who was the writer for South of Midnight. I don't know if you guys have heard of that game.
Loved. I know SJ was a huge South of Midnight fan.
She started off writing in game jams.
That's crazy, eh?
I think like the best thing you could do is to start writing and putting your writing out there. Like, regardless if you think it's great or not, you can always switch it out later, but like put your stuff out there. I always wanted to do this thing where I like told a story through my socials and like posted bits of the story.
That's so cool. Like almost like ARG kind of stuff. I love that.
And then just put that out there, and like you'll build, like people will see it and people will start like talking about it and talking about you. And like, then you can go on like, this is for a game I wanted to write. Like I was personally writing on there. Think outside of the box of how to put stuff out there with your writing, because there's so many people who want to get into game writing right now. It's oversaturated.
It is, it's one of those hyper competitive spaces.
So like find ways to make yourself stand out, and it might not be in a game jam. It might be you start a YouTube where you're just reading your stories, or I don't know. There's so many different ways to get into it, but I think the most important thing is to make sure you're being seen, because cold resumes really don't do anything. So
not anymore. You can't walk in and hand your resume to the boss, for sure.
So write a lot, put it out there, and connect with other writers. And I don't just mean writers at AAA studio. They're busy. Connect with other writers on your level. I think this is the most important thing. I don't think 𝗕𝗎𝗎 said it, but her friend said it. But it's like reach across the table versus like always trying to reach up.
Yes. So yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. Like it's so hard in a society that like really rewards you for going up to like it's easy to forget that you're surrounded by people at the same level as you who also want to help and support you, I think.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah, somebody said guy I met through hosting studios. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you find people everywhere, and a lot of the times, like, if you're close friends, chances are you have an interest that overlaps, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. I think, just because we're a little bit over time, I'm very sorry, folks. If you do have any questions, like, feel free to, like, ping the chat, or, you know, like, shoot, I'm sure, like, Games for Games has a contact of some sort to ask, or Destinee has a contact. We already dropped that. Please follow her on her socials and her projects because they're very cool, and she's doing a lot of very good things for the community. I don't want to hold you too long.
No, I appreciate it.
We try, but
you're doing more than trying.
It's mostly, I truly do think it's mostly like we've had fantastic opportunities to get people that know their stuff or truly believe in what they're doing, and it's very cool to be able to talk to you, for sure.
You also have to give yourself flowers. So that's the last bit of advice I will give. You guys do put a lot of time into things, and I love what you're doing. And thank you so much for having me on and letting me talk to your community. It was really great.
Likewise. I hope moving goes okay too. That's always stressful. A million new things.
It's gonna happen later. I'll be here for a little bit, but yeah, thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day.
Yeah, have a good day, folks. Treat yourself if you haven't yet today. That's our new takeaway from this.
Treat yourself.
Go have a cookie or something. Have a good one.
Oh, that sounds good.
And for those of you joining late, we do post these onto YouTube, so we will ping you and all of that good vibe. If you're into the game jam, we are running a game jam right now with part of the IGDA, so please get involved in that. We're always really happy to shout out game jam, so it's a great way to kind of take a look at stuff that you're making, and everybody here is very talented and cool, so that's always fun. And yeah, follow Destinee and what she's doing, because she's also a very cool person.
Yeah, let's connect.
We'll see you guys later. Yeah, we'll see you guys later. Take care, Destinee. Thank you so much for talking.
You're welcome.
Yeah, bye everybody. See ya.